Okay. Hey.
Hi.
First of all, I mean, people heard the introduction, but now they're gonna be able to see you if they're looking at this video. So bring yourself to the camera. Bring yourself into the camera. Let people see you. This is, are y'all
The
catching this?
the eye makeup
You catching that eye makeup? Look
made
at,
by
come
me. I made
on,
them.
make
I made them. Rings, else.
big drip. Ooh. So, I mean, did you dress up for me? Like, is this for the podcast?
I mean, I did, of course, but I also did dress up because today was my 1 year work anniversary, and I love going there and looking better than everybody else. Um,
How?
so I'm very into like what colors mean. So I wore green for growth and abundance.
Hmm.
They should pay me more money.
Huh. And they should. And they should.
Yes. Blue for confidence and
Mm,
communication, and then yellow for creativity and like the sacral chakra.
mm. And you have all of those in abundance, though. Absolutely. Like I know when I first sent the email out about getting folks, and even a yellow beverage. Is that a yellow
It is. It's some white peach.
beverage? Okay,
Grape.
you said brand the entire. Okay, I mess with that. When I sent the email and I was thinking about like, okay, who do I think would say yes? I had taken a 2 year break. Y'all heard at the introduction. We've been off for a minute, but I've been working. It ain't like I ain't been doing stuff, but we're back with the podcast. And I was like, okay, who do I think would say yes? And you were on the list. We had had a couple conversations earlier this year that was like, I just want to be in conversation with her, period. And I'm so glad. And I will say you were the first person
Yeah.
to say yes. You're not the first person in the segment, like in this season, but you're the first one that said yes, and we're recording first. So I'm so grateful. This is gonna be good. I'm really excited to kind of get back into action. Y'all see I got a new backdrop. I got my book over here, my small victories, and big ones when we need them. I'm still with my plant. I'm still grounded and covered. I see you got your life behind you. It's necessary to live in this world. And as I like to call it, the hood. This is the hood. And I actually grew up in the hood, the actual, as they call it, the ghetto. And yeah, adulthood is ghettoer. So I first and foremost want you to just tell us a little bit about like what is your current adulting state? Like what you got going on? You can tell us as much or as little as you like. What is living in this hood meaning for you right now?
Yeah. I have only recently become an adult. Um,
Mm.
I graduated college last year,
Yes,
and
yes.
I have a big girl job. I'm the senior manager of something.
Come on, senior and manager. Okay.
Mhm. At a actually established organization.
Mm.
I just moved into my first solo apartment
In this
last.
economy?
I pay bills.
Mm.
I do all the adulting things.
That's
And
major.
honestly, like people say adulting is ghetto. Not for me.
Ah, ooh, dragged right here. You heard it here first. It's just ghetto for me, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, wait, why? So I love this because there is a trope, right? When I started this, it started with this trope of like, don't rush to grow up. All you do is pay bills. And I've been frustrated by that. Like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, paying the bills, especially nowadays, they're growing. But I got that. Thank God for that, right? I got that. That other stuff is much harder. Why y'all ain't telling me about that? But for you, it sounded like it's not giving ghetto right now. What's happening? And tell us how we can have unghetto our adult life.
Honestly, delusion. Delu Delulu is the Salulu.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
I just live in a constant state of delusion and
Mm,
believing that everything is working out for my highest good,
mm,
think that I have more than enough for my needs and wants. I don't even use the
mm,
word spend money anymore. I say
mm.
I'm circulating it. I circulate
Ooh,
money in accordance with my values and it comes back to me
wow.
tenfold. Um, some people would think that's delusional, but I have seen time and time again in my life the delusion paying off. Even this job
Mm,
that I have, this big girl job, um, the whole story of getting that could be called delusion. I didn't really apply for jobs. All my
mm.
friends were doing 50, 100
Oh
LinkedIn,
my gosh.
Indeed, everywhere applications. I said no. I got into my journal and I said I will have a job that allows me to have impact in these ways.
Mm,
It will pay me enough for my needs and wants, that allows me to pour into my community, tap into my creativity, and add value to people's lives.
mm,
I kept writing that in various forms for my last semester of college. One thing about me is I'm very like community oriented.
mm-hmm,
Throughout college, I did lots of different internships and opportunities, and I would always connect with someone in whatever
mm,
those things were. I got
mm.
this job through one of those connections.
Come on, networking. Get this
I
networking
don't
together.
even like the word networking, it's community building because
I
networking
feel it.
seems really transactional.
Mm,
If I'm connecting with you, it's on a human to human basis. It's not even like I need this from you. The person who I got connected to my job through, I didn't know that man for real. Like I didn't
mm.
know what I could gain from him. I was just like, oh, this is another cool Black person doing things in life. Let's
Right.
be on some type of like cordial basis.
Let's just connect. Right.
Yeah. So he was leaving the position that I'm currently in, and one of our mutual friends heard that and like sent me a screenshot of the email. And I was like, "Oh, I know Stephen. Yeah, let me just text Stephen." And I was like, "Hey, I need a job." And he was like, "You're perfect for it. Let me."
Okay.
And that was that. And even with the job, so I was in Bali with my friend. That was our like post grad trip.
Yes.
I
Oh.
had like interviewed for the job right before we left. And when we were there, they like sent me an email. We would love to hire you, but here's the base salary. Like we can't move it.
Mm.
This is what it is. And in my delusional journaling, I said I will be paid $70,000 a year for my first job. I would not accept anything less than $70,000.
Mm-hmm.
This job it was not $70,000 that
Mm.
they still have not offered me that. But I was like, honestly, y'all, I don't even want the job. I don't even want it.
Oh,
Mind you, I had
no other options.
no backup plan.
That
Like,
delusion run deep though.
and,
Delusion will do it to you.
and I said I don't want the job. Y'all
Mm.
having no backup plan. A couple of days later, they called and they were like, "So we were able to move some things around, and we found some money.
I bet y'all did. I bet y'all did.
Like it's it's not what I had projected for myself, but I was like, do I have other options? No.
But you
I
had a good boundary, though. I will say, like, I mean, I know you sort of both sometimes seriously and jokingly refer to it as delusion, but like a lot of what you talk about for me feels like faith. I mean, and faith in a lot of ways is delusion. Like if you really break it down, right? But I think like the other side of it too, with this job is like you just know your value, you know your worth. And even though, right, you haven't gotten right to the that number that you had set for yourself, you taught them to govern themselves differently with you, right? You can't just toss a number at me thinking that you about to just get all my labor for the low low. Absolutely not. I don't need this job. I know something will come my way. And so I'm wondering, like, because for me, like I will say, we are in two different generations, right? So I'm in the generation raised by the generation that was just grin and bear it, take whatever, stay in a job for a lifetime because these bills are due, these kids got to eat, the house got it, whatever the things are, right? That are our own adulting, things. And I think kind of being in this middle space for me as I'm moving through my healing journey and, this episode we're really talking about like returning to things that were planted is like, where did that seed, right? That seed of Delulu, that seed of boundaries, like, was that something that you always had? How did you get that? Because we're also about like, I need to know, teach me, because still learning, right? Even as I'm like in this process myself, like, I don't have as much gumption as you have. How did you get that gumption? Where'd that come from?
um, you know, I'm not fully entirely sure.
Mm,
My parents are also of the generation that just stays in things, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
working or not. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here, so I'm gonna just stick with it till the end. And I think honestly, seeing that and seeing how it's not helping them move forward, I was like, nah, I can't.
Mm.
Like, I cannot live a life that makes me miserable every day. I cannot be in relationships that make me miserable. I am very quick to drop somebody. Friendship, romantic. I love the block button. You're not serving me anymore. You're not adding value to my life. I'm only pouring into you and you're not pouring into me. Goodbye. It's been
Mm.
no hard feelings, but
Right.
isn't aligning for me. Um, Even like organizations, if an organization isn't working for me, I will leave.
Mm.
I don't need you, you need me.
Oh.
Um, but at the same time, my parents did also have a lot of radical faith in other
Mm.
ways, like
Mm-hmm.
especially in terms of finances. You know, the math don't math. The jobs that they have,
Ooh.
they be living, it don't match.
Mm.
But that's God. They believe that because I'm doing good things, because I'm using my labor to help other people, my bills will be taken care of.
Mm.
Um, as we were talking, I was thinking of like when I was younger, I had some like health things and a couple surgeries, and my parents didn't have money for that. I
Mm.
remember hearing stories about how like the debt collectors would send 10,000, 20, $40,000 bills for my surgeries, and they would just take the paper and some anointing oil and fast and believe that it was going to go away. And it did. And it did.
That's radical faith. Like that, we talk about mustard seed. What's deeper than what's smaller than a mustard seed? I don't even know at this point. That's a level of faith that, good on them. And I think to be fair, right? Like my goal in my life isn't to just surround myself with people who have the same, like maybe sometimes limited worldview. Like I'm not Delulu, but I'm so grateful that you have enough delusion for the both of us that I actually can believe things that I can't believe for myself based on what I see for you, right? And the same is true, I will say real quick about haters. Because haters be doing that too, but haters can't see for you what they haven't been able to see for themselves, right? And so I think to live this life where you just believe radically that everything that you desire will come to you 10, 100,000 fold, that bills will show up and disappear, that debt collectors will no longer be calling. And I think that that is definitely a faith-based thing for sure. But I think there's also like there's actions that I think people take, and maybe those are things that we don't see, right? So one of the challenges I have now in my adult life, trying to both care for and steward the child in my care, a 14-year-old, and continue to heal the child in me. This level of return actually is a right now thing, right? And sometimes what I return to is this like question of what really was going on for our parents. So we might see, I believe you that your parents were like, them bills are just gonna have to stay there. But perhaps they were doing other things, right? They were talking to other people. They were sharing their story, and somebody at the church or somebody at their job funded it.
Sure.
And maybe there was a GoFundMe before there was a GoFundMe. But I think like one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is in my own healing journey, as I mend, as I kind of return to this sense of self or whatever that looks like, what are the stories then that I'm pouring into, whether you have a kid in your care or not, next generation, young people, nieces, nephews, whoever they are? What are the things then that I'm being transparent about? So sometimes it may look like from a kid's perspective, like, wow, my kid calls me Yama. Yama has it together. Yama comes and I'm like, if I tell you what it takes to make this broken crown color, maybe that'll allow you to have more information for the now and for the future. And that's really what I'm trying to instill both in my own life, but also through this work that is the Rushing to Adulthood entire brand, really. And so I'd be curious for you, like when you think about like some of the things that you might take at face value or just sort of receive as like that's what the adults in my life was doing, what is your curiosity, if any, around like returning to some of those questions or experiences that you had from childhood? And how are they like shaping right now, your right now?
Hmm.
Are there
Um,
things people don't think? I mean, maybe I'm just like out here thinking about things that like nobody's thinking about.
I do think about these things actually. I believe that. you have to align your actions to your desires as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we're going to use the story of like money and my parents, they are aligning their actions of pouring into other people, of being a good steward of the small, big, whatever gifts they have in their lives
Mm.
to the desire of wanting abundance, to the desire of needing their bills paid. It's not like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, praying, wishing for God to drop
Right.
$1,000 in my account. No, I am acting in accordance with that. I'm living the life that draws in that abundance. And that is something that I've taken into my life now. Um, I try to act like my higher self. I try to
Mm.
behave like someone who has more than I have now. I give more than makes sense because I'm creating room for
Mm.
more to come into my life so I can continue that.
Mm.
Um, I would say that's like the most prominent example, but to just distill it down, acting in accordance with your desires, I think is something that you need to be like very intentional
That is
about.
real too, because like I mean, there's some things too. It's like just for the job you want, not the job that you have, and like what does that look like in action? From a my own tradition, giving is a huge thing. And there were seasons in my life where I did not have it to give. Like I needed every dollar. And still finding ways to give. I was really grateful actually for my time in the Episcopal Church for a longer stint, a pretty long stint, where I learned that giving was of your time, your talent, and your treasure, not just your treasure, because growing up in the Baptist church, it was giving your treasure, your dollars. And I'm like, now I'm waiting on that next paycheck, and this one didn't stretch the direction it ought to for the bills I had in this pay period, right? So when I hear you say giving, right, giving more, both I think in your time, your talent, your treasure, but also giving more, to yourself so that your future self has more, right? Like, and I think that that's something that, when I think about just the depletion, now I cannot speak for every Black woman ever. I'm not here to do that. And
Mhm.
there is enough data. I'm data informed in everything that I do. So there is enough data that shows that Black women are depleted. We are depleting ourselves to the nth degree. These tropes of loyalty or putting everyone before us, even the small things of I'm hosting a meal and I'm the last one to get a plate.
Mm.
Now, that is seen as, of course, what it takes to be a good hostess, but it's a small microcosm, I think, of a larger issue that we see, and we are last. And whatever's left over. Sometimes I host a lot. Sometimes, the potluck didn't potluck, and everyone said they was going to bring X, Y, and Z, and it wasn't enough. So I'm going to just bow out of receiving whatever it looks like in real time for us. And so I think as a Black woman, as a queer Black woman in this world right now, I think it does feel um almost like foreign, magical, even mystical, to say I'm gonna give to myself, my past self, right? Both for me of like returning to that child who needed a hug, who needed to be told it was okay, who did not need to take care of everybody, right? Returning to her, but also giving to my past, which was now my, current self. So my future self has more. So I'd be curious for you, like what ways do you give to yourself right now? So your future self has something more than you have right now.
Yes, this is something that I've been actively working on lately. I've been feeling very drained. I think
Mm,
that I'm in this period of like rapid evolution in my life, and I am
mm,
taking on a lot of things. I said earlier, like community is something that's really important to me. So I want to be there for everyone, show up to everybody's events, do all the things. But that comes at the cost of energy
mm.
how you cut it. So this past, I think 2 weeks ago, I decided that Sundays are Delanyo Devotion Day, and I
So
don't
wait,
schedule
say that again. Come on, say it
Delanyo,
slower so we know what it is.
Delanyo Devotion Day. I love a good alliteration.
You're an excellent writer, orator. I love it. Yeah. Delanyo Devotion Day.
Yes, so the way that growing up, I would go to church every single Sunday and be devoted to that. Why can I not pour that same
Mm,
level of devotion into myself?
mm,
I pour so much every day to others. One thing I journal is may my cup be full and let the overflow bless others.
mm,
So
mm,
if every day I'm pouring out and there's no overflow for me, for my cup to be full for me, that doesn't work.
hmm.
So Delanyo Devotion Day,
I
I stay
love that so
in my
much.
house. I stay in my house. I make myself at least one good meal. Um,
Mm,
I'm trying to like spend time outside. I have a balcony. I'll go eat my breakfast there or something. Do some type of movement practice because you have to take care of your body now for it to last in the future. I don't want old me to be like,
whew.
damn, girl, you was just using me any which way.
You don't care about me.
Yeah.
Sometimes my body be like, girl, you don't care about me. It's just, I like that a lot though. And I'm a visual learner too. So I love, like, I can, and just the way you speak about it is like, I can see this happening. And, like, you actually post sometimes your meals on social media so people get a chance to see. I think you made a kimchi and rice thing recently. Looked so good. And I
I,
love you throw any Asian dish my way, I'm tearing it down. I'm not gonna ask what's in it. I'll be like, I'm not allergic to nothing in this moment. I just want what's on this plate. So yeah, your dishes look so delectable. And always intrigued when I see them.
and even something as simple as like the quality of things I use in my home and on my body and that I ingest.
Mm,
That's something that I've been more intentional about, especially like moving to this new space. I like got rid of all of my plastic Tupperware and I only put stuff in glass.
mm-hmm.
I started like juicing and making my own probiotics and stuff. Like I'm looking um, at this tepeche that I am making, which is um, pineapple skins and ginger, a cinnamon stick, and some cloves. And you put some water on it and leave it on the counter for a couple of days, and it ferments and becomes like a bubbly probiotic drink.
Come on, urban homesteading.
Yeah, I'm just in my like medicine woman, taking care of my body era. And even small things like I got a towel warmer.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
yeah, like I'm just trying to have a fun
What a
experience.
treat. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I will say too, I have I'm in my own little holistic, homesteading, urban homesteading era, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And actually, I think a lot about food, and I had a very difficult relationship with food growing up, and we were extremely poor, and so like everything was monitored and measured. And I'm also from a generation that you do not get up from this table without every morsel of food being off the plate, and from not just a generation, but a family and a culture that does not like to waste, and all the things, and just being able now, and then also that the things weren't very healthy, and so I grew up on WIC, government assistance. I remember going to the food stamps when the food stamps were colored notes. I don't know if you like, and I was
Yeah.
up there giving them my little purple $5 bill, and um, and now being able to be more intentional with my food and make things and see the process, and that participation in my own healing, literally, like physically, has been a really eye-opening experience for me. Because in between these two times was multiple misuse of food as a place to like save me from something, such a disdain for food that I would eat it and regurgitate it just so I can feel good in my body. But that's, all these different variations of how I even engage with food and its healing nature for me. And I think part of how I can get to this space with something like making bread or making applesauce or whatever it is that I want to make in my own kombucha, sounds like make my own probiotics, is that I had to heal the part of me that kind of felt like they weren't worthy, that she wasn't worthy. And in order to heal that part of me, I had to literally, I mean, I did EMDR. I'm very honest about that. I had to literally return to the scene. I had to return to her. I had to go. back to the places that hurt me. And there's a quote that is from a book I was in Boston, um, just perusing a bookstore. I love bookstores. I love libraries. I worked at the library in college, and there's a book, and I opened it. The book title is What My Mother and I Don't Talk About by Brandon Taylor. It's a very great book. I absolutely love it. And the page that I opened to, it said in the one of the first lines, it said, "It's strange, really, that to grasp that which has hurt you, you must trust it not to hurt you when you let it inhabit you." And I didn't
Oh.
know what that meant. I was like, but I just thought it was so deep, you know? And as I've been on this writing journey, in this podcast journey, this healing journey, that quote has really taken root that like I am returning to places that I wanted to run from, that I rushed from. I am returning to family members and stories and experiences that when they did happen at the time were super harmful, and I couldn't trust in this era that if I let it inhabit me again, if I go back, that I would be safe. But I've what has helped me is seeing personally for me just how much God has held me, how faithful God has been, how much my community has supported me, and how much I've grown. You talk about sort of, I mean, you didn't use these exact words, but like evolving, forever becoming. That's not my language, but forever becoming. And so I mean, there's a lot of different moving parts there, but that's sort of my reflection on like, what is this return actually for? Who is this return for? If we talk about like, we've heard in previous episodes about rushing and cracking and what does that mean for people from different places in their life, and sort of shifting into understanding what does it mean to return to those things that we ran from, those places we rushed from, to learn from it, to heal from it. And for me to place 9-year-old me back where she belongs and not try to have her take care of 35, 36-year-old me. And so what is return as you understand it in this context? What does that mean for you? And what is that looking like for you in your adulthood right now?
So I'm going to start with a story.
Love stories. We love them.
This is really aligning with just what's going on in my life. So yesterday, I randomly was talking to my childhood best friend, and we were like cool. We don't talk regularly or anything anymore. But for some reason, we were conversing, and she brought up how I am one of the people who has changed so much that she's witnessed. And
Mm,
I said, honestly, I don't think I've really changed. I've just become more of myself or
mm-hmm,
rooted in myself. And I brought up this article that was written about me when I was 6 years old, and it
mm.
was called Spectacular Kids of Athens. And
Is it available anywhere? Can we
it is,
find it? Oh my gosh.
if you Google
Okay.
my first and last name, it's in there. I'll send you the link.
Oh my gosh, please do.
Yeah, that article, um, they came to my house and they like interviewed me and my parents, and I was drawing, I was coloring a picture. I think it was like of three people in a garden with some flowers and grapes, and the reporter in parentheses wrote, could be her family, who knows, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were talking about how I was in African drumming and dance, and I had just gotten a pink ukulele, and
Mm,
I
so
was
cute.
just a very bubbly, creative, resilient child.
Mm,
Um, I think that in a lot of ways, am returning to those aspects of my identity. They've always been,
mm,
but in middle school and high school and college, I felt that I had to be a specific type of person to be
mm-hmm,
valued. I had to do certain things. This painting that is in my background, the words are an essay that I wrote some years ago about how, for the first time in my life, I've been able to truly dream for myself, not some
mm,
programmed dream that somebody else wanted for me.
mm-hmm,
Those
mm-hmm,
dreams are what 6-year-old me would want. She would want a life that is centered around creativity, that's centered around community, that's centered around connection to self, others, and the divine within us all. I am trying now to be more intentional about honoring those things that have been
Mm.
within me this entire time. So,
I will say, as a recipient of your light, that's just sort of like a beautiful, like even deeper return. I think the return to self in the way that you've just described it in your prioritization of community is that when you returned to yourself, we were all better for it. And of course, everyone in your circle loves you, loved you when you weren't writing, loved you when you weren't, whatever the things were, right, as you were becoming. But I think just the way that you exude freedom, even in our small circle, our friend group, when we were playing around with like, what are the people's names? Like, what would be your nickname, right? And I think, is that where your nickname came from? The one that you used for your Instagram?
no, it didn't come from
Which
there.
one? I don't remember what we gave.
My nickname was like Vibe Connoisseur or something, which is
Oh,
true.
it is
I,
true, but it
I
was limiting. I think we had talked about it was
yeah,
limiting.
but
Uh,
my Instagram name, Delanyo the Changemaker,
hmm
about because of a lot of things. There was a phase in my life, I really love Issa Rae,
Who
and
doesn't?
that's my favorite show of all time. But I tweeted like maybe 5 years ago, I am going to be the queer African Issa Rae. And I
Love that.
started just saying like, and even writing down in my journals, like, I'm a queer African change maker. I change
Mm,
the world by being authentically myself. And that used to just be a personal thing that I would just say to myself.
right.
But then I was like, no, I'm going to publicly say this. I actually wrote the other day, my handy
I
dandy.
love it.
I
You are
actually
an
have
avid journaler,
I
like
have multiple. I
truly.
keep one in every bag. I'm somebody who journals in the club now.
Oh,
Like,
you a journaling auntie. Like you done moved into a new era.
yes, like I was at a function the other day and somebody came up behind me and they were like, "Ooh, so mysterious," because I was writing.
Let's go quick aside. What would be happening at a club, at a function
You want
that
me to
would
read what I wrote?
require the journaling? Like, what does somebody do?
I can go and read you.
Let us hear the raw material.
Well, okay. So this was the 20th. So what, 2 days ago?
That was July 20th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
29 a.m. I'm grateful for my life. I look so sexy and I have such sexy experiences. I'm growing into such a beautiful, thoughtful woman. I really value my people. Okay, I'm gonna skip some of this. It's so funny how people keep commenting on me writing as being so mysterious. This set is so good. I have such talented friends, and I may they succeed in their paths, creating beautiful realities for themselves. Everything is fake. We are literally living in a simulation. So I want my player to have a great story, feel
Mm.
successful, cool friends on their shit. And then I listed all of my friends and I was like, they're a star, they're a star, they're a star. Everybody's a star. Wow, baddies everywhere. I'm a baddie for real. And I'm going to keep growing deeper in self, more rooted in devotion. And these roots will flourish into a fruitful life. May my cup overflow and the overflow bless others.
Oh man, that was good.
But that's not even what I was gonna read. I was gonna read
Well, we just
this.
needed to know what was sparked. But it sounded like you were supporting some friends who were doing some dope things, and you just
Yeah,
had to just capture that moment. I
yeah.
so appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what is that you was going to share?
So that event that I wrote the Substack about,
Okay, Lord have mercy.
right. I
Subscribe to the Substack.
yes. Also Delanyo the Changemaker. That's how you can find me. But I wrote out Delanyo the Changemaker in big letters, and then I said, I may be entirely delusional, and that's absolutely okay. Calling myself Delanyo the Changemaker is the way that I'm honoring the potential within me. I owe it
Mm.
to myself, my ancestors, and God to be my fullest, most authentic self. I want to be fearlessly me. I love the woman that I am right now and who I'm becoming every day. I'm making little Delanyo proud. Yeah.
Oh, I just I've just had a little moment. I really appreciate that. And what a gift to little Delanyo, what a gift to us. Because, you know, a couple years ago, my assignment in therapy was to spend more time with little Hazel.
Mhm.
And I happened to have all these little pictures of myself from being a kid. And um, I didn't look, I wasn't too happy. And it wasn't like I was looking sad or anything, but I just looked like just a kid, just doing whatever, just posed. But like, you know how the kids have to have this fake smile or whatever. And the task has been to just speak to myself, write to myself, and whatever that looks to celebrate, things that come up and just be like, oh my God. And I have specifically the 9-year-old me in my car that I speak to. And just listening to your reflection, it just makes me think about how we think our rush to, at least I'll just speak for myself. Like I've believed that my rush to adulthood was to like put aside childish things, put aside the child, just put them aside, and that we are a culmination. Like I think hearing what you said, it's like I'm not 9-year-old Hazel. 9-year-old Hazel doesn't belong in this version of myself in the ways that I've had her have her carry me and, unhealed ways and things like that. And so, yes, I do want to return her to the era she was from, but she also belongs here in a different way, in a way that I can exchange ideas with her and laugh with her, celebrate with her when cool things happen, remember her when I'm doing some stuff that I ain't got no business doing, be like, am I gonna make this girl proud? And so I think part of what you just said just sparked something new in me about like it's a culmination. Um, and I think that feels different than evolution, because culmination still contains everything that
Yes.
was before in a way that I think sometimes when we talk about evolution, it is like you don't always have the pieces you had before, if that makes sense. I'm curious, was I see the
Yeah,
wheels turning.
are a lot of wheels turning. First thing, I read this book, No Death, No Fear, and
Hmm.
it talked about how things don't die, they just move from one thing to another.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
different examples. But as you were talking about yourself and like 9-year-old Hazel, like she is literally a part of you and future
Hmm.
you also a part of you. The and then that made me think about mitochondrial Eve, how
Hmm.
a woman has all the eggs in her body the day that she's born.
Isn't
You
that
were
wild?
inside your mom, you were inside your grandma, you were inside her grandma. You have always had these multitudes within you, and you, by being your most authentic, free self, are honoring younger versions of you, but you're also honoring the dreams and hopes and aspirations of all the people, women, anyone who has impacted your life in any way. You are honoring them as well.
Mm.
Also on Substack, some days ago, I saw someone said something along the lines of, I am the most free that anyone in my lineage has ever been. I'm not going to waste that on being insecure.
Hey, that's good. That is good. And that's a new take on my ancestors' wildest dreams. I like that as a standalone statement with what you just said. I am the most free anyone in my lineage has ever been, and I won't be wasting it on being a hater, being insecure, doubting myself, spending time hating other people or being rude to other people. I'm not gonna waste none of that. I'm gonna spend my freedom being free, free as a bird. I love that. And
You are
what is
free.
freedom? What is freedom then? Like, what is freedom to you right now? What does that look like?
Freedom is just being the most authentic version of myself.
Hmm.
If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. If I want to journal in the club, I'm going to do
I
it.
love that for you so
And
much.
I be having things to say. I have ideas. What I wrote was good.
It
It
was
added
very good.
to my life. I reflect
Mm,
on my experience. I was really enjoying my friend's DJ set.
that's
Um,
dope. You do dope things. Yeah.
yeah, like I just need to go as hard as I can, 10 toes down on my dreams.
Mm,
Because one, I'm honoring the people behind me, but I'm also honoring the people in front of me. Like me,
Hmm.
the most authentic version of myself allows, if I choose to have children, them to do the same in their lives. Some random little black girl on the other side of the world may see my Instagram video talking about whatever and be like, yeah, I can do that too. Or
Right.
whatever it is that I want to do too, because this person is just being free.
Hmm.
I think that's what freedom means to me.
I love that. And I want to, I think that's a good way to sort of like kind of have some closing thoughts about freedom and return. When I was a kid, I don't know if this is true for you or true for anyone listening, I was so free. Now I was, we were under duress with living at the intersections of poverty, drug misuse, incarceration, racism, sexism, all the isms. I was living and breathing and existing at these intersections, but I remember literally playing in the dirt, running like nothing. And I remember feeling for those small moments like such freedom. And that freedom looked like just being able to run. Hold on, this how they do me? You see how it did me just then?
But I could still hear you, so
But now I can't hear you.
um,
Can you hear me?
very clearly.
Okay, I think we got back in action. The adversary stayed busy.
Mm.
Because I'm just gonna finish by saying Freedom One looks good on you. It looks so good on you. And for those of us who find ourselves not as free, I think when we talk about return from the rush to adulthood, I would just encourage us to return to the moment running around on a playground, if that was your freedom, freedom to color outside the lines, freedom to play, in the backyard, however you wanted to play, no limitations, just being free, and channel that. As you think about this space in your life, as adults, life does require much of us, especially in these times. And some of us are not always afforded that time and space and energy to get as free as we'd like. And so we rely on the goodness and gifts of folks like yourself, Delanyo, to help us be reminded that freedom looks like so many different things. And so whether that be riding in a club, journaling in a club, wearing that beautiful green, and being as Delulu as you want to be. Freedom looks good on you, and I'm so grateful to be in the midst. And I'm grateful that we all got to witness just for a moment your power um, as you both return and continue into your adult life. So I'm so grateful to have spent this time with you on our journey of rushing to adulthood. And I'll see everybody next time. Bye.